All right, welcome to Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. Um, all right, welcome to Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. I am Princess Robinson. Tonight we have a good one with Never Had It So Good. Where are they now? And former running back for Penn State. We are Blair
That-
for sure. I can't. I'm going to say that the whole time because I know Duck is from West Virginia. So welcome to the show, Blair. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Amen. Amen. Duck, my co-host. How are you, sir?
We ain't.
Hey, that's for sure.
Come on, Duck. He's our guest tonight. He's our guest.
So he walked into that one. He walked into that one.
All right. So, at some point tonight, gentlemen, I want to talk about the young man from Horns Island and Nolan. Gosh. Well, I'm just sad about that. The 18-year-old that was hanging out for 4th of July that's no longer with us. But we can get to that later. We're waiting on Tim Duck.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Did you sent it to him?
Yeah, I put the link in there with me, you, and Tim. And then I assume you sent it to Blair.
Yeah,
Um, so we can wait on that. Wait on him. It shouldn't take long. I'll text him right now.
I
So
got him. I hit him up.
you got it. Um,
Yeah,
so Blair, I just want to know: are you excited about the college football season with the new coach? How are you feeling about that at Penn
Yeah,
State?
it's a lot of mixed feelings going into the season, but excuse me, having the opportunity to have a conversation with Matt Campbell on multiple occasions, not at great lengths, but I did on three or four occasions get a chance to just share some moments with them, and then talking to some of the former players that live in that area that still can make it to practice.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that we have a solid coach. I got a chance to see some. I did go up to one practice to see them practice this spring, and everything was well organized. I, I, you got to wait until you see what gets on the field. But I think we have a strong coach that once people get in and see what he's trying to create and what he's trying to do, that more kids are going to either want to come back or not, or I should say nowadays there's these early signings. Maybe they'll keep their commitment, or not. So we just got to play that by ear. Um, but the things that I've shared with him, far as you know, what kind of program he's trying to create, I think we have a solid coach that's, in their still realm of what Joe Paterno started, which is, he's going to have a disciplined team out there. One of the things that I was concerned about, that there was so many kids in that transfer portal that came
Mm-hmm.
to Penn State. Uh, I think our size is not what it used to be, which is one of the things that I still going to be concerned with until I get a chance to see the whole team together.
And I know we need to get started, but Blair, I want to ask because coming into last season, James Franklin was the coach, and there were high expectations, and the season just fell apart. Can you help me just put the pulse on what really happened? How did the disconnect come about, and they have that type of losing season to where they part ways in the middle
Uh,
of the season?
wow. I wish I can come to you with firm
Yeah,
facts,
yeah.
but I can only go by what I've heard. Um, and I was under the impression that the agent went back to the athletic director and he wanted to, ask for more money. Not that he wasn't making the whole boatload of money,
Mm-hmm.
um, because he went to the, that deep into the playoff the previous year. I guess they discussed it and thought that they you know could ask for more money. And then once it got off onto a rocky start, I think things just started spiraling out of control, which led us to where we are now, um,
Okay.
with new coaches in different places.
Okay. Yeah, good enough. I know and some of the stuff maybe I shouldn't, because I don't want you to share something you probably don't want to share. And I just want you to know that I know Duck is West Virginia. Tim Moore is a huge Virginia Tech fan, and I'm a Florida Gator, so I have my own problems over here. I'm I'm hoping that John Summerall solves it all. Um, um, Before we get started, Tim, just quickly, welcome to the show, sir.
Glad to be on again, Princess.
All right, so just 30 seconds to a minute. Your thoughts on or what you've heard about James Franklin at Virginia Tech, and I know you all thought that that was a good hire for you.
Yeah, everybody's ecstatic at Tech about James Franklin right now. They were, from what I hear, very stunned that as many people left Penn State to follow him to Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not only brought in a tremendous haul from his previous team, his recruiting has really been out of sight in terms of the 4 stars that he's brought in from around the country, and he's done something that Frank Beamer was doing to build that program into a national power several years ago, is that
Mm-hmm.
he has reversed the trend of not getting the top Virginia ball players. He has started to get those guys again. They're staying home to play at Virginia Tech, and so everybody at Tech seems to be really happy. We don't expect him to be in the CFP this year because we know that Miami is probably going nowhere, and they're still going to be where they were at the top of the ACC. SMU has made tremendous strides over the past couple of years, so Tech has some work to do. But we think in a couple of years he'll be a contender again.
Me being a Gator, I hope that Virginia Tech is the top of the ACC. It just burns my blood every time you mention Miami. And you were right last year for the most part. They made it to the national championship. You thought they would win. And I went to the altar on that one and they didn't win. So I'm going to take credit for
Well,
that.
Princess, I watched that game on YouTube about 3 or 4 days ago again, just to kind of see in an unemotional state how that game looked. Indiana was in control of the ball game the whole
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Um, Miami was never out of the ball game, but Indiana controlled that game the from start to finish.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother show about Signetti and how he has built a powerhouse that won the national championship with the Indiana Hoosiers. Wow, that's amazing within itself. Duck, thank you for allowing me this time. I know we can kind of run over since we don't have another show, but I just wanted to get that out of my system. Go ahead,
Well,
Duck.
the question you had asked Blair about James Franklin, I don't know how you can live off of $3 or $4 million. That's got to be rough.
Well, I'd like to
At
test it
times
out.
it could be. At times it could be. Tax time.
I like.
No, James is going to do a great job wherever he goes. He is a built-in winner. He's a great recruiter, which Virginia Tech is experiencing now. He's relentless. He's going to try to outwork most people in the recruiting process. His game day, calls and adjustments is one that everybody was always questioning, and hopefully, he's made some strides in his development there. But we all, as coaches, got to go through, different stages of development.
Yeah, yeah. I just heard, Blair, that on the recruiting trail from parents that have been recruited, parents that have had some players there, that he was always a man of his word. They never, they liked that about him, and so. But I wish him well. I wish him well for sure.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
yeah. So, all right, Duck Robert.
Yeah, and you brought up some interesting Blair, about making adjustments and stuff too. and that's why you got to have the right coaches around you.
Mhm.
Exactly. Because you know everybody's coaching their players, and you got to have teachers that's going to teach them and get the message across to those players, which is a number one thing because everybody think they're doing a great job coaching, but you could be coaching to a one man band, or you could be coaching to that player that helps that player. Then you got to go to the next player, and you got to make sure you coach kids to their abilities and how they absorb information as well. Because some people are visual learners, some people learn in different other ways. So when I was coaching, I used to try to do it in all aspects to make sure that everybody gets their message.
Hey, Duck, if you don't mind, I want to ask Blair a quick question, if you don't mind. Blair, we were talking about you mentioned the relationship between the coach and the players, and I was thinking about the example. One of Duck's teammates, John Jennings' son, is playing. I think with he was at Penn State and then transferred to Virginia Tech to be with him. What
Is it
is it about
Jenkins?
Yeah,
Jennings?
Daniel
Jennings.
Jennings.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Talk to us about what it is about Franklin's coaching style that engenders that kind of loyalty from his players, that kind of love from his players.
Well, he speak truthfully from the beginning, and he's not going to sugarcoat it. He's going to tell them how it is, and now it's a different era now. Back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, when they didn't have this transfer portal, it was on different measurements, and now it's strictly on. He recruited those kids to Penn State, so why wouldn't he take them to his next stop? Um, some guys stayed, some guys didn't. Other people transferred to other places, but he was loyal to the guys that he brought in, and all of them are not happy. Don't think everybody's always happy because in this day and age, you try to get the best player on the field, and sometimes you know somebody got to get their feelings hurt. And some people say, well, you promised this and that, or you alluded to you're going to be giving me a X amount of playing time. Well, somebody else came through the works that was better, and now it's 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 crazy, as I should say, with this NIL stuff. I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
Yeah, Tim, you brought up something to Blair. By being around him, always dating back to the '90s, he has that charisma, Tim. I mean, people just gravitate towards him.
No, that's Duck Rowley right there. That's Duck Rowley right there. That's why, hey, those clanks he used to get them packed because of his charisma.
All
Doug,
right,
you
Blair,
have
we're
time
gonna
to
jump
expound
into
on
it.
this charisma?
All right.
I couldn't hear you, Prince.
I said you want to have time to expound on your charisma. You just want to move on.
I think we need to move on. All
Okay.
right, all right, Blair, talk to us. How did it get started? Did you play Pop Warner? Did you play multiple sports? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Okay, yeah. I grew up in North Philly, and not far from Temple University. Uh, and the area I grew up in was not far from Connie Mack Stadium. I lived 3 blocks away from the old Connie Mack Stadium, which is a block away from Dobbins High School, where Hank Gathers and Bo Kimball went to high school. So we grew up in the same neighborhood. So there was no Pop Warner League team around there that was organized enough when I was coming up. Um, so I did not play football with equipment on until ninth grade. And fifth, sixth grade, we had flag football with the YMCA, which we played. It was a unique setup because we played the area's middle schools. and then we would go up and then go to the championship, which I did extremely well in flag football. But I didn't in middle school. I started gymnastics because kids used to always doing tumbling flips in the neighborhood. I was like, man, I want to learn how to do that. And seventh grade, started gymnastics for seventh and eighth grade. And my gymnastic coach, funny, he said, you should look to go to high school for ninth grade because there's not enough competition or athletics for you at this level that you should look to go to high school. So I always wanted to play football. So, looked through the public league, and Al Angelo was at Frankfort High School, which was in Northeast Philly, which was an hour away by public transportation. So I commuted for 4 years up there. In my first year, they had a public league strike, so we didn't play a full season. And at first, I wasn't even going to try out that year because we started so late, and it was like we probably only had one or two games, and we wound up having two games, and I did extremely well in those two games. The first kickoff return was returned for a touchdown. They say it was a penalty on it. They kick it again, same results the next play. um, but I wound up having in two games like over 10 touchdowns and you know you know crazy rushing yards. It was just so then my high school coach Al Angelo, he brought me up with diversity right away, and we couldn't play as a ninth grader at that time, but we could practice. So he's the one that kind of. I'm from Philadelphia, so anything you see on television, on Saturdays was Penn State football, or Penn State Temple, or things like that. So got a chance to get exposed to Penn State my 10th grade year, and I went up there and worked out at the camp. And at that time, they they thought I could be a defensive back.
Mhm.
And I always wanted to be a running back because growing up, I always emulated, you know, uh, O.J. Simpson, Franco Harris, Gale Sayers, Walter Payton, all the great running backs. I emulated those styles when I used to play in the snow growing up. You change your style depending on the weather outside. So then I exposed to Penn State, and at that point, they wanted me to play defensive back, and that was the last time they saw me backpedal. Once they told me they wanted me to play defensive back, you ain't seeing no film there. So I, wanted to be a running back, and was fortunate enough to make it to the next levels.
Now, let's back up a little bit. I want to go all the way back to gymnastics. Did you compete
Man, it was
in
it was
gymnastics?
it was middle school. You only did like the horse. You get a tumbling pass, and you get the rings.
And so, but you did all of that.
Yeah.
How well did you do?
I was backhand and flipping and double full twisting and all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh man, we need pictures. But anyway, now
Hey, I got a picture of Iron Cross, so I will have to pull him out.
now you're in the ninth grade. Okay, you're going to the 10th grade. All right. So as a 10th, you started your 10th level in 12th grade year, correct?
We had a couple other upperclassmen that he was a Joe Paterno type of coach. The guys that been through the system.
Right. I
So
got
they got they burn, and then I would get in. But my 10th grade year for the Thanksgiving Day game, I went for 214 on Thanksgiving. uh, after being up 2, 3 in the morning.
Wow. All right. Now, when did you realize that, you know what, I probably can play on the next level? When did you realize that?
The next level being the pros, or the next level being college.
College.
It probably was. Shoot. I guess when I was getting all the letters from all over the country, and everybody wanted me to come when you're getting all the big boys, the Notre Dames, the Ohio States, Syracuse at that time, Pitt, and Penn State. But you're still getting letters from the West Coast, UCLA and Arizona and all those places, Florida, Florida State. You're saying, well, I think I can play at that next level. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
What schools did you visit after, and what made you pick that? I can't even think of the school you went to, but what made you look at those schools?
Yeah, I got recruited by those. I took my visits to those schools that I had mentioned, and I'll just go in order. I went to Penn State because I was at their football camp and I felt comfortable with the coaches, and I could see myself being there, for the next 5 years, because that's how you have to really perceive it. Is that it's not going to be a 1 year event at that time. Now we know things have changed now. Um, then I went to Pitt. Tony Dorsett is right in the state. Um, family can get to the games as well. So all that came into play. Then I just Syracuse. I just became real good relationship with the assistant coaches there. And then it was Notre Dame and Ohio State was my last visit. So um, it was in Syracuse. It was snowing like crazy, and in Notre Dame it was snowing like crazy. And Penn State it snows there too, but for some reason, those visits was like on bad weekends, and it was like snowing like crazy. I was like, man, I can't see myself going through this here for 4 years, 5 years. This is crazy. And it snows just like that at Penn State, but I just happened to catch a day when it was beautiful. And then Ohio State was, you know, I'm already a city boy. I need to get out of the city to get my academics right. So I thought being, downtown Columbus, it would be kind of tough. But those were the schools that I visit. Um, but it was because they were powerhouses too. But I wanted to play, somewhere where I can get seen, because the ultimate goal was to get to the next level.
Okay. Now, you coming, you're finishing high school. You decided on that. Again, I keep forgetting the school, but you decided on the school. You go up there. Your freshman year.
Yes.
Now, what adjustments? What's going on your freshman year?
All right, my freshman year, DJ Dozier is a 2 year starter at this time. Um, we had color coded jerseys for first team, second team, third team, and fourth team. And I was fortunate enough to start off in a green. And the thing about it was blue starters, green second team, yellow third team, white fourth team. Two players at each position at each color. And your colors change probably every practice. If you had a bad practice, you'd come in there with a different color jersey on. You knew what kind of practice you had.
That's
So
cool.
yeah. So they ain't even had to tell you what you were. You just fucking got the jersey. So my freshman year up at Penn State, it was four other running backs that was signed there. So you can't do that now with this NIL stuff. back then because it was schools like we are that had like in West Virginia that had 120, 130 kids on scholarship. Probably more down in West Virginia.
Okay.
But yeah, I came in there with four other running backs, and I played in the Big 33, which was the All Star game against Pennsylvania and Maryland coming out of high school. And I didn't get much burn in the game because the head coach was from Western PA, and he wanted to play his running back that was from Western PA, and he was going to IUP, and I was going to Penn State, and I was mad because I got like two or three carries, man. Like,
That's crazy. That's crazy.
yeah. So man, I just went home and I started training like crazy, and I was like, I'm gonna make sure I'm the best conditioned athlete on any field I get on, and that one thing right there allowed me to get on the field at Penn State early. And as a freshman, I was doing more kickoff return, which saved a couple. We was undefeated my freshman year, and if it wasn't for a couple kickoff returns throughout that year, we may not have finished up undefeated, but we wound up losing in the Orange Bowl my freshman year to Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. And then I came back my second year, and we won the national championship that year.
Okay, is DJ still there? Or
DJ
okay,
still there at that time. Yes.
okay, all right. DJ leaves. Next man up. What's your thinking process? Because now you're on everybody's scope.
Yeah. But the good thing is now I got 2 years behind a running back that got drafted in the first round by the Minnesota Vikings. Now that gives me confidence that I know I can play at the next level. So I went into that season confident. All right. Finished that year with over 1,300 yards rushing. After the end of the season, practicing for the Citrus Bowl, I wound up blowing out my knee in practice, like no one touched me. But practicing for the Citrus Bowl, blew out my knee. I had to make a decision at that point. Do I come out and go in the draft as an unproven player coming off injury, or do I sit out a year and come back and prove myself? So I decided to sit out. I had a red shirt available because I played as a true freshman. So that allowed me to, you know, take care of the books. And then when I came back for the fall of my fifth year, I only had two classes, or I only needed to graduate. So I had classes on Tuesday and Thursday. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I didn't have classes. So it was almost like I was already training on a pro schedule at that time because all day Monday I can get treatment and watch film of the opponents going into the next game. So it put me at a true advantage of getting a chance to get a lot of film work in.
Okay, with now the technology is a little bit different. How difficult back then was it to come back from the ACL surgery?
Um, for me, uh, I had a positive attitude, and I, I've been through so many things injury wise and throughout my whole life that I experienced that I understand the the will of positive thinking, and the mind heals the body faster than anything. Um, and I got on my training right away, and I could have came back and played, in my opinion, my last year as being much 4 straight years. But because I had that opportunity and I told my mom I was going to graduate before, I left school, I decided to stay and, come back for that fifth year.
Okay, Now you come back your fifth year. Now, are you are you nervous? Because a lot of people say, until they get that first hit, that all these different thoughts are running through their mind.
No, I already had the fact that it's stronger than it was before because they just replaced it. So the mindset that I had going into it, it was fine. I never played a single game with a knee brace on. I had a sleeve, but never a knee brace because I wanted to show everybody that the knee was healed.
Okay, your fifth year, you finished now. Are you guys in a bowl game? Or what's happening? What's happening?
Yeah, okay. Now, so my fifth year, I wound up rushing for another 1,300 yards. So I was the first running back in Penn State history to have run for over 1,300 yards in 2 seasons. You don't have to be consecutive, but in 2 seasons. So now we're getting ready for the Holiday Bowl, which was the bowl game that we was selected to play in with our record. We wound up playing Ty Detner and at from BYU in the Holiday Bowl. I rushed for I think I had 36 carries that game for 180 something yards. Was the MVP of that game. Ty Detmer threw for over 500 and something yards. So we was co-MVP of the game because it was just some crazy numbers that was put up in that game. It was a high scoring game. I think it was 50-49. We wound up winning beating them at the end. And
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Now, yeah. Okay, you win. Are you playing any All Star games? Or the combine is coming up. What's the mindset?
Okay, so then I go to I play in another All Star game. We go to Japan and play in a Japan Bowl. So on the team on the Eastern team, it was myself and Anthony Thompson from University of Indiana. And we get over there, we both running backs, and they didn't really think about the fullback position at that time. Um, so his behind at about 230, 240, he ain't want to play fullback. He couldn't handle the heat. So myself at 195 had to show him how we do it at Penn State, and I played fullback. And only thing that did was continue to increase my stock because they seen that I go up there and hit you in the mouth too. Um, so wound up being an MVP of that game. Then come back and play into the Senior Bowl, and I was the MVP of that game, coming straight from Japan. So it was like 3 straight games in which I was able to become MVP. So I made sure that the main thing was being the best conditioned athlete on the field. You can think straight, you can think clear, everything is in your favor.
Now you're coming from the Senior Bowl. Now you're going to the Senior Bowl. Are you playing fullback or tailback?
Tailback, I'm back to tailback
Okay. All right.
now.
Did you participate in the combine?
Uh, I went in to get the physical done at the combine. I did not run or lift. I did lift at that time at 195. I did 18 bench press. That's before they started all this plyometric stuff and
I got
man, guys jumping out of the gym now.
so. All right. All of this is over. Are you working out for teams? Do you know? Do you have an idea where you might go to the
No,
NFL?
I did my combine at Penn State and I ran a 4.45 on the pro day at Penn State. My fastest was a 4.38. That was before knee surgery, and 445 after. Um, but I wanted to go do all the let them check my body out, and I did have a shoulder surgery um, after I got finished playing, but I was able to get through somehow through my career in the NFL with my shoulder that used to sublex, and then go back in place and never stayed out of place. So it would just get weak that I couldn't really, grasp anything in that arm.
Okay. Uh, Draft day. Was it? I'm sure it was up in New York. Were you picked to come to New York and go through the draft?
Yes, I was invited to come up the night, for the draft. Stayed up the night before. Um, the general manager at the Jets at the time called me the night before, told me that they was going to take me with the second pick unless something crazy happened. And at that time, Atlanta Falcons had the first pick, and the Jets had the second pick. And so the night before, I'm partying like I'm in New York. Hey, it's going down. This is where I'll be playing at in the Big Apple. Let's go. And then the next day, as soon as everything's getting cranked up, Atlanta trades the first pick. And I'm like, oh, does that change everything? But it didn't change nothing. And with the second pick, the Atlanta traded to the Colts. The Colts wound up picking Jeff George with the first pick, and then the Jets picked me with the second pick.
Okay, you preparing. I know you're preparing like crazy, getting ready to go to camp. Your mindset going to camp. And how was it? Did you get a little hazing? Because back in the day, they hazed us a little bit, but you could take us through that.
No, I didn't. I didn't get hazed. I think because we had a mini camp, and one of the defensive ends was coming off the edge, and I just had perfect leverage on him, and I kind of dropped him, and they was like, "Oh shit." But I wasn't in camp. Unfortunately, I wanted to be there, but the lowball numbers just didn't make that happen. So I wound up signing right before the last preseason game, and I did get a chance to pick up LT on a blitz, and he wasn't with his ears pinned back all the way, but he gonna wind up tapping me on the head. Good job, pup. So you motherfucker, get out of here. Tell us some good job, pup.
All
Yeah.
right. You're going through the Jets. Now, where's your next stop? Just kind of take us through the NFL.
Okay. Um, I played 4 years with the Jets. I don't think I was used properly there. But that was the end of Freeman McNeil, Johnny Hector. They had Brad Baxter there. Um, Bruce Coslett was coming in on his first year as the head coach. Later on, I'm finding out he wanted to pick somebody else with that pick, but the general manager said, no, we're taking a running back. Um, so played 4 years with the Jets, and after those 4 years, contract went up. Then I played for New England, and the first preseason game, high ankle sprain. So, you know, another situation where once they get you on film, they got to release you because they done brought somebody else in to put, for that money spot. So went out to from there, went to Kansas City to get a look at. They worked me out, and then my next stop was Dallas the next day, and I wound up staying in Dallas once I went there because they was on a playoff run. So Emmett was having some issues with his hamstring. So in the playoff game against Green Bay, I had two touchdowns against Green Bay. Brett Favre, Reggie White playing defensive end. I only get that one half a season in Dallas. So that next year, I get picked up during the season by the Carolina Panthers. I was in camp with the Atlanta, but then wound up playing with the Carolina Panthers to end out my last year.
Okay. Now, football is over. What is Blair Thomas going to do?
All right, I'm already started doing things with camps and sponsoring. I sponsor two kids from every high school in Philadelphia to go to Temple University, camp just to get involved. And then after a couple years in the area, the Temple job comes open. Bobby Wallace get hired as the head coach, and I put my name in and get hired as an assistant coach. Spent 8 years on that staff as an assistant coach. After that, I had some young kids. Didn't want to, get on that coaching carousel where you're coaching here 1 year and 2 years later you're on the West Coast and then you're in the Midwest and now you're up in Maine. And I didn't want to go in that carousel. So that's when I started doing, some more camps, as far as private camps with Football University, junior ranks, and doing camps with those organizations. Then I was like, man, I'm flying all out of the country. I might as well stay in Pennsylvania and coach kids in Pennsylvania. It'd be a lot of less wear and tear on my body flying out and doing all that stuff. So I started doing camps all throughout, Pennsylvania and semi-retired now, and you know, help out when I can.
Okay. Tim.
Yeah, Blair. I remember good portions of your career. I'm the resident Jets fan here on the program, so I just wanted to ask you a couple of things about that. You talked about how when you went to Penn State, DJ had been there for a couple of years, by the way, a Virginia guy, and you came in and had to share some carries there for some time with other backs, other outstanding backs. And then you go to the Jets and Freeman McNeil is there, and you got Johnny Hector there, you put in a position even after they drafted you number 2 in the first round in the draft. What was your thinking when you were placed in that position for the second time in your career?
I thought getting drafted where that I got drafted that I would get more carries,
Right,
and that was the main thing. Is like I never got a chance to get acclimated to the timing of our down linemen because I'm running in and out of plays and not necessarily getting the good plays.
right. Yeah, and you
uh,
had such a great game against the New England Patriots that I thought that would have sort of broke the ice.
oh yeah, I was. Yeah, it was a couple games against New England. I had some good games in which but I had a lot of little nagging little injuries, meniscus tear, hyperextension of the your knee. Like I said, I used to sublux my shoulder and your strength goes away with this, so you got to build that back up. So I just started having all these little injuries when I was in New York that I didn't have when I was in college.
Yeah, let me switch gears to your post playing days. You were talking about working camps and stuff, and I just got a question out of curiosity. Working with the kids from Pennsylvania, you mentioned how it was a thing that you ended up, really sort of zeroing in on Pitt and Penn State during your recruiting. Western PA and PA in general was known for producing great running backs,
Oh
great
yeah,
great athletes
yeah.
back then. And what has happened that particularly Pitt. Penn State's still getting them, but Pitt is not getting those kids anymore out of Pennsylvania. What do you think is contributing to that?
Well, in my opinion, a lot of those great athletes that played running back are now those slot receivers, because it's the one back system. They want to see the ball up in the air. They want scoring points, touchdowns, and the way you're gonna get that is through the air, and that's why the value of the running back have diminished, is because those athletes are playing other positions because of the change of the game.
Yeah, that is true. I hadn't even really thought about that, but that is true. And I see that happening quite a bit. Princess.
So, so I wanted to ask that. I wanted to go back to something. Did you grow up a Penn State fan? Being from Philly, was that a possibility? Was that the team you followed when you were in high school?
I followed. I really what I would see on television. I mean, would see Penn State and Temple occasionally,
Hmm.
but those Penn State was more the games that I got to see. Yes, I was more of a Penn State and Pitt because of Tony Dorsett.
Hmm.
Is where that connection kind of, and following the running backs
Okay.
is where that came into play.
So now, I heard you mention, some of the letters that you got, Florida State, and all of those. And you said you took visits. Did you ever take one to West Virginia?
uh, when I coached at when I coached at Temple University, we went to West Virginia, and I didn't know if I was going to make it out. I didn't know if I was going to make it out.
I heard Tim laugh. Tim, you know I was going to ask that. Um, so, um, talking.
No, but on a more serious note,
Hmm.
when we played West Virginia my freshman year, after we left the stadium, they almost tipped our bus over. They was rocking it so hard that
Wow,
we thought our bus was going to flip over.
wow, yeah, just Ruckus fans. There's no,
Yeah.
no couth whatsoever. I tell you.
Hey,
So
look, I hope you and Blair are having fun, Princess. But go ahead.
we are the. Let's bring it forward because I always want to know, how we feel, former football players feel about what we have now in college football. I don't know how far I want to go to this NIL transfer portal, but let's talk about the college football playoffs. Do you like it at 12? I'm not sure. Tim Duck is headed to 16, Blair, but do you like the playoff system?
Well, it was something that was needed because the current system wasn't working, where they were picking teams at will who would go.
Yeah,
And the playoff system kind of gives you more teams to get involved. But the only problem is they need to come out and just make it where it's a pay to play, because they don't care about the schooling of these kids no more. Anytime a kid's transferring from school to school to school to school, there cannot be no synergy in the academic side of it. And they need to, I guess, start earlier so the playoff system can do its proper thing, and then you can go ahead and extend it to 16 teams, because they got to get the proper representation throughout the whole country for it to be a true champion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't like it where they were, in a room and they voted on who was number one, two, or three, or even voted
Yeah.
on who got in the last four or five. So I think I like this system better. Did you see? Did you bet on Signetti in year two? Because in year one, I think he went undefeated or 11, 12-1. Did you think he was going to come back? Because I think Tim and I said, I just don't see him making another run like they did. Did you see that coming?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm not a gambler in that respect, but when you see what he did with the fifth year players, he had really a pro style or mature, I should say, a mature team
Mm-hmm.
with seasoned veterans at every position that they was just no, there was a better match than the teams that they played. They were well seasoned, they were prepared, and I mean that's he did a great job coaching them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, you
So
can't take nothing away from them, nothing at all.
Mountaineer.
that's
It got
all.
to be some way, but it got to be by way of Pennsylvania somehow.
So
Well,
NIL.
you know, Blair, it's funny you say that. His father, I think, coached at Indiana of Pennsylvania for many years in NA, was it NAIA? Won several national
IUP,
championships.
IUP.
IUP, yeah,
IUP,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow. So NIL, let's touch on that, and then I want to, yeah, let's touch on NIL. I know you dubbed Tim. I don't know. Tim played on the college level. If you got a little NIL money back then or now in some back pay, you would love that, wouldn't you?
That's got questions for Tim
Yeah,
because I would
Yeah,
love it.
Precious. Before Blair answer that, I don't know if they would have had enough money to pay Blair. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know, no, I would have did extremely well. And if the NIL was back then, they had this little teddy bear with a third jersey on with number 32 on it, and it was called the Blair Bear. And all the stores downtown had their Blair Bears, and people was buying them just because
Wow.
of it. And I didn't get nothing out of it. So yeah, I would love to be a part of that era, but it's really it's hard for them to justify, in my opinion, paying just the skilled athletes like that because if those guys up front didn't block
mm-hmm.
for me, I wouldn't have been able to do what I needed to do to get started to do what I did. So those guys had to be they have to be somehow compensated throughout this process.
Yeah.
And but what I did learn with this NIL is that every year for at Penn State, they have after their spring game the next day they have a Special Olympics walk, and Super Turtle is she's a big supporter of it, and now Franco Harris and I mean you know rest his soul, his wife Dana has now become a big supporter with Sue with it.
Okay.
But at the finish line, they had Penn State players on both sides. One side was for the runners of the day, and then the walkers. And I was with the walkers. So as I came through, I stopped and they introduced myself to the players because they had a bunch of players at the end waiting for people to cross the finish line. I did not see a single face that I recognized from the previous year.
Wow.
Not a single face. And then that made me step to the side and start thinking. And I was like, if I don't recognize a single one of these kids, that means that every single one of them is on an NIL deal.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they be here? They came from Iowa State.
Wow.
They ain't gonna leave their state for no money. So
Right.
every single one, I was like, whoa, this is straight pay to play. They need to stop faking and saying about a GPA anymore.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's
They lying.
transferring. Yeah, no one's transferring for their particular, whatever their major is off of
Yeah.
gold. No one's transferring for that.
No one is sending their kid to another state a million miles away for free and have to pay their tuition
Yeah.
or their room
Brian
and
and
board.
Precious and Tim, the crazy thing about that is, and I think we talked about it on another show, Blair, that every year you almost have to learn the whole roster over again if you're watching.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So with all those players that went down to Virginia Tech, it's the same thing. They all got paid to go down there, or they wouldn't go.
Hmm.
They would have stayed.
Yeah, I agree. That's where we are. Doug talks about having it where, Blair, that this NIL, they get so much percentage up front, and then the rest is put into a trust or some type of an account, interest bearing account where they can save it for after they graduate. But giving these young men 1.4 million a year, the wide receiver I think is at University of Miami is getting 1.4 million a year. And if he stays an additional year, it's another half a million. And he gets the unlimited use of the billionaire's yacht. And he has his own suite at the Miami Dolphins um, uh, football game.
Shut your mouth. Cut
Is
it
that
out.
Malachi Tony?
Cut it out. Don't do that to me.
That's Tony.
Wow.
Crazy. Well, I thought the guy at Miami was like on the quarterback last year was 5 or 7 million. I heard.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
Carson.
Carson Beck. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a lot of things, but he definitely had money for sure. So I mean, and I think that's where we are in college football now. Do you watch college football, Blair? Do you make it a point to get my popcorn, your popcorn, and watch Penn State in the games?
Okay, let me tell you. I probably shouldn't even be saying this on the public airwaves, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Everybody in the state of Pennsylvania on a Saturday or Sunday or more like a Friday, they drive from Philadelphia, Harrisburg, Altoona, Pittsburgh area memorabilia. I need to be where they spending money at. So in the last 17 years, I think I only missed 5 home football games.
Wow,
So I'm always up there supporting Penn State.
wow.
Are you signing? Are you part of that memorabilia and signing autograph? Well, talk to us, Black.
I cannot confirm nor deny. I can't confirm nor deny. But I just know where I need to be.
Oh man, that's
I,
funny.
Hey,
I,
Blair.
I, I try to tell these guys that they need to go back to the alma maters.
Mhm.
They need to go back.
Yeah. Hey, Blair, you were on the national championship team. I think your sophomore year. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Was Rogers Alexander on that team? Was that the team he was on?
No, actually, Roger missed it by 1 year.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, Rogers missed it by 1 year. Yeah, I just saw him actually when I went up to Penn State and went to the practice. Rogers, he's up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew him. His grandmother used to live in my hometown. He used to come spend the summers with her when he was
Okay.
young, and so I've known him since he was a young man. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
good dude.
Yes, he is. Yes. Yeah.
That's all the questions I have. I've enjoyed this. We got to get you back during the season. Maybe if you're at the game, you can recap it the next Monday for us and tell us how it went. But I appreciate this. This has been awesome. Duck and Tim, any last questions for you all?
Yeah, my thing is, Black. What do you miss most about your athletic career?
Okay. After money comes the camaraderie of the players. No, just the locker room stuff.
Yeah.
Just the normal stuff. Just you know.
So, so Blair, did you knew Duck when he had hair everywhere? Then
Okay. All right. Okay.
when he had
I
that
knew him. I known him for a long time.
Uh,
Awesome. Okay, so my last question, who, and I know it's usually the usual suspects, but Who do you think comes out of college football this year? Georgia's not going to be bad. You know, they're looking for Arch Manning and the Longhorns to be pretty good. I can't remember the quarterback that went from Duke to Miami, but they're, if nothing else, Tim Moore is going to keep singing that song about the Hurricanes. But who else is out there? SMU reloaded. Who else do you think?
Well,
LSU with Lane Kiffin?
Pete, that's the crazy thing about this time that we're involved in because there's so much transfer portal stuff going on and
Yeah.
it's so much moving around that it's that it's going to be based on the maturity of the team,
Mm-hmm.
the senior, or I should say upperclassmen leadership. Um,
Yeah.
and of course, you always got to have talent. You know, whoever team that put all those three together, that's the team that's going to surface, or teams that's going to surface in that national championship rail. It's a lot of great coaches out there that's building great young men. We talked about the guy at Indiana, guy out in Oregon. You know,
Yeah. I got about
USC. I mean, it's a lot of young great coaches. And Duck, I believe the reason why the game is evolving the way it is so fast is because the stuff that we were doing, coaching kids in the early, or I should late '90s and early 2000s,
Yeah.
with Football University, getting all the former pro guys to go back and coach those young kids. That right there, that information is what we didn't have. That's invaluable coaching that those kids got, um, over the course of a weekend.
And just to piggyback what Blair is saying, the university, when we did it, we also had them study films and show them their mistakes. A lot of
That was,
camps don't do that.
yeah, we had classroom time, and
Yeah. Hmm.
hey, we had guys from all the major universities going around on these circuits coaching kids, and actually assistant coaches and pro coaches from Miami, Virginia Tech,
Yeah.
all places, Virginia.
yeah. Yeah. Guys, Tim, Duck, Blair, can you give me a moment and a shout out to Paula for listening to the whole show. Paula, he's behaving today, so thank you for listening in. That's Duck's sister. But Tim, I'll start with you. The young man, the 18-year-old, 4th of July, Nolan Wells, did not come back with his friends. But the narrative is that we as parents, especially our black men, need to make sure that our young boys know both sides of what they need to know. And I could say more, but I'm trying to be politically correct here. Tim, your thoughts?
I would just quote the Dr. Kwanzaa Kunjufu, who most notably said that one of the problems we have in our black community today is that we raise our girls and we love our boys,
Hmm.
Wow.
and we really need to do a better job of training the young men to be young men.
Yeah. Yeah. Blair, your thoughts? Have you read about that at all? The young.
No, I haven't. I have to defer, and I wish I knew more information on it. Um, but anybody who does not return is not a good situation. But I apologize not hearing this. I don't know why I haven't heard it because I'm probably so wrapped up in the stuff that I'm uh I'm starting to learn this other side of the financial world,
Hmm.
and I'm been consumed in my time with learning cryptocurrency. Um, so that's probably why one of the reasons why I haven't, because um, I just want to make sure I apologize for not knowing what
No,
happened.
it's okay. It's okay. We're just having an after conversation
Can
here.
you kind of give us a synopsis of exactly what happened, Princeton?
This young man told his parents he was going to go do 4th of July with three other friends, and they were going to take a boat to Horn Island. and I think that's Alabama. If I'm not, I'm pretty sure. And they went there, but only the three young white boys came back home. They had his phone though, and they did deliver his phone to his parents, his mom. By midnight that night, she called the police and said, "Hey, my son is missing." They have now opened up an investigation. The young man has been found drowned, and they have recovered his body. But the young men have continued to say that we thought he came back on his own or went with another party because after a while we didn't see him. So,
Mm,
and that's where we are now. But the narrative has been on social media because I'm on there most of the day with my clients and other stuff. But is that we as black families and we as black men or black men need to make sure that our young black boys are comfortable with their own people, or that we at least tell them if this is going to be your circle to be careful. But
yeah,
that's is where
yeah.
we are. That's where we are now.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and again, that's the same principle that Kunjufa was talking about. Is that we train our daughters. We train them. We tell them to look out for this, look out for that. Don't if you go out with your girls to the club, don't leave with some dude. You
Hmm.
come back with the
Yeah.
people that you went out there with. With the guys. We our sons. We teach them boys will be boys. They're gonna sow their wild oats, and we just got to do a better job.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was very careful, and he was my stepfather, only dad I really have known. He was very careful with who I went with and where I went, and don't leave your drink anywhere. Don't trust a whole lot of folks, and be back in by 11. The boys got a 12:31 a.m. Curfew, and he provided them with condoms.
Hey, Princess, not all boys got that curfew.
Tell me about it, Duck. Would you like to
Mhm.
expound?
No, it's just my mom. Everybody could go out when they were like in the 10th and 11th grade, and I was able to go out a little bit towards the end of the 11th grade year, but mostly the 12th grade year. Everybody like, oh, this is a dance tonight, and you sitting there like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why you went to West Virginia and went crazy. Yeah, yeah. She ain't let you out of the house.
I don't think we need to discuss that, Princess. You need to stop asking those type questions. We need to move on. My sister's on the phone, Blair. We don't need to discuss any.
Well, you know what, Blair? I'm sure there's different levels of crazy. Yeah, we're
Yes.
talking level 8, level 9, or level 10. How crazy was he? Yeah,
Yes.
nobody answered that with me.
Yeah, but Prince, but like you're saying, that's a very sad situation because the way the environment, things are happening now because of who's in office and stuff, the entitlement, stuff like this. I'm not surprised, and like Tim said, you got to also be, you got to understand your surroundings and
Yeah.
and who you're going with. But my mom, she always, even Donald, all the way down to Deborah, that she wanted to know where who you're going with,
That's
Yeah,
right.
and my thing was her deal was no matter what time you came in, it's like she had a clock on, in her head that she was up trying
yeah,
to make sure everything. Because I understand that now, and I'm sure you guys do too.
Yes, we do.
When
Yes.
you don't sleep because you want to make sure that like you said, you want to make sure that your kid get back home in one piece.
yeah, Duck. And I remember my parents, even my grandparents, if they were at the house that I'm giving, who are their people? But the bottom
Yeah.
line is that this
Right.
Yeah. That's
mom
right.
and dad no longer have their 18-year-old son.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you say that, Princess, because my mother was the same way. You come in talking about, can I go over to so and so's house? She was like, I don't know them people. You know,
Exactly.
I don't know them people.
Hmm.
Who are their parents?
Yeah,
And you didn't want look. You ain't eat at everybody's house either.
That's right.
no,
Doc.
No,
no.
definitely don't do that.
But my mom was a teacher, but we had the era where we were doing sleepovers. My mom said, if you want to sleep over, tell them to all come over. I'll bring them all over, but you're not going over there, wherever that is.
And that's it's we're laughing about it, Princess, but that is so smart and so needed because
Yes,
all it takes is one bad night to
Yep.
change
yes,
your life.
just one bad night, you know. And I think I said this, maybe it was on another show. I remember even back then, my white counterparts, they were having a party. It was a pill party. Everybody bring the pills out of your parents, you know.
What?
Yeah,
What? That's a new
and
one right there.
and they
Yeah,
Yeah, never heard that one either.
hey,
put them in a
Princess.
bowl and they get some throughout the night. Two of them went to the hospital, but I remember
What?
that party.
Hey,
You,
Prince. I be now, who you hanging with?
I said it was some of my white friends. I was trying not to say that part, Doug, but I
Oh my goodness. I had never heard of that, Princess.
yes,
Y'all asking for instant death.
yes. And so they drank and got a pill out of the bowl every hour or
What?
whatever.
Wow.
Yes, yes, pill parties. Hmm. And it's still prevalent today.
I never heard of that, Princess.
No, neither.
You talk about playing with death. Aren't you playing with it?
Oh, oh yeah. No telling what the parents was taking.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh man.
Well,
Princess. Now
Princess, didn't that happen?
I'm sorry, Tim. I just
Wasn't
want to
there?
say
Go ahead, Doc.
no, just real quick. I just want to know, Princess, did you take a pill?
No, I didn't go to the party.
Oh, it
Oh
scared
no.
me for a moment. All right, no problem. All right, sorry, Tim.
But
Yeah,
they had plenty of Polaroids. I came up in Polaroid. They had plenty of Polaroid pictures of everything. And they planned the party for a couple of weeks. It was during homecoming. Go ahead, Tim.
No, I was just listening to you tell that story, and wasn't there a situation where a young black girl went away with a group of her friends like a couple of years ago, and the same kind of thing
Columbia,
happened?
South Carolina. Yes.
mm-hmm,
They all went
mm-hmm.
to Mexico and she didn't come back. And if I'm
Right.
not mistaken, she paid for the trip.
Wow.
A young man went and he videotaped them beating her. But they came back and they didn't know
Yes.
where she was, and they discovered her body in Mexico. But and this is when your parents go, okay, we didn't used to do that. This was black, some black girls. So, while everybody got quiet,
No, that's sobering. That's sobering.
Yeah.
as a parent, I don't want to lose my child. And your future is so much ahead of you at 18, and go have fun. Okay, y'all are going voting, and obviously voting is a big thing in Horn Island, but it gets to be 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and they have brought the son's phone over to his house and said he didn't come back with us, but here's his phone. At midnight, she called 911 and said my son is missing.
Yeah, that don't even sound right.
No,
Not at
it
all.
doesn't. It doesn't.
Mm.
You know,
And Princess, the scary thing about it, if they end up doing anything to him, I like to see that case because they usually don't suffer like we do.
yeah. But now remember, in college at Spelman and UF, if we all came together, we all left together.
That's right.
Period.
Well,
Period.
that's not that Princess, especially when it's a nice looking one with three ugly, and you try to separate them.
You know what?
Uh,
Tim, Tim, they be holding on to her for dear life,
Tim,
man.
don't
Like,
do
That's
that.
right.
Tim, get you. Oh my God.
oh,
They just say, what if it's a cute one with three ugly ones? They all going.
well, she ain't going nowhere with you. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Blair, and Tim, and Princess, then you have to look for one of your homeboys to take that lick for you.
Take one for the team,
Take
Honda.
one for the team.
Come on now, come on, I owe you.
Just talk to her. Just talk to
Yeah, right, right.
Okay, y'all know about this way too much here.
Oh man,
And with us, it was like, come on, just talk to him. He's really smart. Okay, he's smart.
right, 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 right. Hey,
So,
Paul, Paul, I'm talking about your brother Don. I ain't talking about me.
would you like for me to open Paula's mic?
Oh no.
No, I thought you said we were out of time, right?
Right, right.
All right, gentlemen, this has been awesome. Blair, you got to come back because
Yes.
obviously you have some material of information that I want on Duck. So continue to come back
Okay.
Okay,
every morning.
okay, okay.
All right.
All right, this has been
Appreciate you, Blair.
No problem.
all
We
right.
finally made it happen.
I know, I know.
Amen, amen. Duck, is this it for the week for us?
Now we got the tennis player on
Okay,
Thursday.
on Thursday. Okay, all right. Well, gentlemen, thank you again. Rev is doing a lot better. So, you
That's
know,
good. Good.
I
Amen. Amen.
yeah, he's doing a lot
Mm,
better. He went out on his own, and somebody took a picture of him at Walmart in the hug around. I said, Lord have mercy, and sent it to me. But he really has recovered. We have one more doctor's appointment in. I still don't think he's preaching this Sunday, but gentlemen, thank you for all your support and for checking on us. I appreciate that.
All right.
yes.
All
That's
right.
good news.
All
Never had
right.
it so good. Sports Radio is Wednesday tomorrow. That means Sports Talk with K Walk. We'll see everybody then, and then we'll be back on Thursday. Tim, where are you in the world? Are you home or are you traveling?
I'm actually at our church district convention, which starts tomorrow morning. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee.
In Knoxville,
Now,
Tennessee.
how long of a ride, Tim?
It was about 3.5 hours.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right, Tim, when you get in the morning, get in the elevator in the morning, just say go Gators. Okay, do that.
Yeah, okay, that'll go over real big
All
Okay.
here,
right.
I'm
Good night,
sure.
everyone. Thanks for
All right.
everything.
Good
Good
night.
All
night.
right.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Everybody
All
got
right.
to go on that one. All right. Good
Yeah.
night.
All right.
All
Bye
right.
bye.
Good night, everybody. Never had it so good. Sports Radio.